Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, for well over a year, I have been warning you guys how the technocratic elite want to use COVID-19 style policies in order to handle, well, the climate crisis. Well, now there are a few technocratic elitists who are now wanting to require some kind of mandatory carbon card that we each carry in our pockets, if you will. And these cards will be used to ration your energy, to ration your fuel, to ration your travel, and even ration what you eat. No joke. This is well worse than anything that we've even seen from the COVID-19 pandemic. So what on earth is going on? Well, I'm about to show you a proposal that was written by 4 environmentalists who call themselves experts in the field. And this particular proposal was written on a very highly reputable journal, the science journal called Nature. Now, these 4 environmentalists also use the fact that since the American people and the entire globe allowed all these measures and restrictions in the name of safety, why would they not allow rationing in the name of public health? This is why I have always stressed, in the name of public safety, you cannot give up every ounce of freedom that you have, because it's a never-ending game. They will use all their power and claim safety and take away all your freedoms, just like we saw with the COVID-19 pandemic, and just like you're going to see with this new idea, if you will, that's being pushed by environmentalists. Same ideas have been pushed by the United Nations, by the way, and this is an idea that they want to push in the very near future, not only here in the US, but across the globe. But here it is. It's on nature.com, Nature Sustainability. And the article was published August 16th, 2021, so very recent. And it's titled Personal Carbon Allowances Revisited, because they actually brought this up in the past, and now they want to bring it back up in light of everything that happened with the COVID-19 pandemic. But what exactly are these personal carbon allowances? Well, the article goes on to state this. In the context, the introduction of personal carbon allowance, they're calling them PCAs, a mitigation policy proposal developed in the 1990s, is ripe for revisitation. The policy aims to link personal action with global carbon reduction goals. A personal carbon allowance scheme would entail all adults receiving an equal, tradable carbon allowance that reduces over time in line with national targets. In other words, you're going to have some kind of card or some kind of a file that you would link to your carbon allowance, how much carbon you're allowed to use. In its original design, the allowance could cover around 40% of energy-related carbon emissions in high-income countries, encompassing individuals' carbon emission relating to travel, space heating, water heating, and of course, electricity, which means they want all of that mandated and limited via some card that you have. So your travel, aka your fuel, your heater in your home, your water heater, your AC, your conditioner, your heater, all of that, and of course your electricity. Allowances were envisioned to be deducted from the personal budget with every payment for transportation fuel, for home heating, for fuels and electricity bills. People in shortage would be able to purchase additional units. You can buy more units in the personal carbon market from those with excess to sell. So if you want to have more carbon that you want to use in your home, you have to buy it out on the market. Now, more ambitious PCA proposals include economy-wide emissions encompassing food, yes, you heard that right, services and consumption-related carbon emissions, for example. In other words, what this is entailing, and I'm going to be very blunt here, is they're pushing for and wanting a personal carbon allowance that would introduce rationing on every aspect of your life, pretty much on your electricity, on the heating in your home. If they're more ambitious, then even on the food that you eat, probably linked to how much meat you're allowed to have. And by the way, this says nothing about, the elitists who own their own jet crafts and can fly around with no regard to emission. Nothing about them. It seems that they're excluded in this entire report. And I'm just going to say that out loud. In other words, one rule for you and another for us little people. Now, this article goes on and expands a little bit more. And let me show you here. In addition, it says to the economic mechanism, PCAs, your personal carbon allowance, aims to influence energy and consumption behavior by increasing carbon visibility, by invoking users' cognitive awareness of carbon in their daily routines, and by encouraging carbon budgeting. Moreover, the shared goal of emissions reduction and the equal per capita allocation of PCAs is envisioned to create social norms of low carbon behavior. These three interlocked mechanisms are hypothesized to promote low carbon lifestyle. And you can see it here. Economic behavior they want to impact your cognitive behavior. And of course, the social norms, you and all the people around you, which will result in a lower carbon footprint. This is pretty extreme, really extreme. And talk about the usurp of every ounce of freedom that we have. Now, here's the interesting part on this is they want to revisit these PCAs because of what happened with the COVID-19 pandemic and how successful it was, right? Because people exchanged freedom in the name of safety. And I'm not even joking here. Take a look. This is why I've always warned you cannot give up freedom in the name of a little bit of safety and security because it's a never-ending thing. You will always have someone that needs saved, right? PCAs should also be reevaluated in the context of the COVID-19 experience and lessons that are being learned. Recent research has shown the pervasive negative effects of the pandemic on also 90% of the SGD targets, drawing a stronger parallel to the climate crisis, which in different ways may negatively influence a similar number of SDG targets. It was estimated that a low carbon pandemic recovery could reduce the emissions in 2030 by 25% when compared with pre-COVID-19 projections. The aspiration of the international community for a sustainable recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, combined with heightened awareness of the effects of individuals' actions on the spread of the pandemic, the global connectivity that means that people everywhere are affected by global problems, and the new behavior and social norms that were formed as a result of the pandemic may favor today your personal carbon allowance. In other words, and I'm going to expand on this in a moment. In other words, because the public allowed all these mandates and measures with little to no fuss, well, then why would they not allow these ration members in the name of safety and security, right? That's what they're saying here. And it goes on, and particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, restrictions on individuals for the sake of public health and forms of individual accountability and responsibility that were unthinkable only the year before have been adopted by millions of people. Ooh, people may be more prepared to accept the tracking and limitations related to these personal carbon allowances to achieve a safer climate and many other benefits. For example, reduced air pollution and improved public health associated with addressing the climate crisis. Other lessons that could be drawn relate to the public acceptance in some countries of additional surveillance and control in exchange for greater security. And then they go on to give all kinds of examples on that. If you give up your freedom in the name of safety and security, then you will lose both safety and security and freedom. And I'm vaguely quoting someone there, and I don't remember who stated the quote, but it's very important that that be known, especially in light of what's happening. Now, I warned about this on restrictedrepublic.com. I talked about how they would try to use COVID-19 style policies to stop what's going on with climate change. And it seems now that they're even crossing that line to the aspect where you can have a little ration card telling you how much you're going to eat, how much you're going to spend on electricity, how much you're going to spend with that AC, how much you're going to spend for the fuel on the car, how much travel you're allowed to travel, even air flight. It would encompass all of it. But again, just like Congress is exempt from Biden's COVID jab mandate, the elites will yet again exempt themselves from such a thing. Is this the Orwellian line that the liberals will not allow to be crossed? I highly doubt, because they've already shown in the name of a little bit of safety and security, they'll allow anything to happen. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns on all of that as well. Please don't forget to check out my partner. And I really haven't heard, by the way, anyone talking about any of this. This is the very first I've heard about it is here on my channel and in doing some of the research. Anyhow, please don't forget to check out my partner at hidewithlisa.com. If you guys don't have a VPN, I really want to encourage you guys to get one. This is a way that you can look on the internet and keep your privacy. And our privacy today is ever so important, more today than ever before, because nobody needs to know what you're looking at the internet. And the good news is, you can try it out free for 30 days. There's no charge to try it out for 30 days. And it's 50% off for life. So check it out at hidewithlisa.com. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.